On November 3rd, 2023, the Department of Homeland Security announced its intent to release an additional 20,000 H-2B visas for workers for the Northern Central America countries of Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, and Honduras for employers with winter 23-24 and spring-summer 2024 start dates. These visas are for new or returning workers. Because of the limited number of visas, employers with returning workers who drew a Group E, F, or G assignment in the Department of Labor's randomization, or employers who are new to the program, requesting Northern Central America workers may be your only option. In December of 2022 and February of 2023, we hosted 2 Northern Central America showcases in Guatemala and El Salvador to allow our membership the opportunity to observe the process and to interview workers. In this video, we want to share the feedback from some of the employers who took this trip and ultimately decided to request Northern Central American workers.
My name is Jeremy Doherty from the Bar Harbor Inn and Spa in Bar Harbor, Maine. Here at my property, we have 215 employees, so just give or take, at peak season, and 190, I think it's 92 this year will be H-2Bs. I think this might be our 21st year on the H-2B program overall. The Northern Triangle has opened up to be able to bypass the lottery. We decided to go down there and do a portion of our petitions to say, let's give this country a shot and see if one of these 3 places would work. And then the next month, we got an F in our food service attendant, one of our larger petitions. So all of those out-of-country people were kind of off the list. And we replaced them with the, bypassing the lottery, going through El Salvador. So we would have been in a real bind had we not gone to El Salvador, because those people wouldn't have been able to come.
Gabe Mitchell Horney with Triple H Services. We started in 2007. We do golf course maintenance and landscaping. We bring in around 470 workers a year, and we work in Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Last year in 2023, we had 2 groups in ELF, and we was not going to be able to get returning workers or anything, so we decided to go to the Northern Triangle and try it, and it worked out great.
So my name's Tom Donahue. I'm the president and CEO, along with founder of Donahue & Sons.
I'm Sherry Donahue, and I'm the vice president.
And we cater to right-of-way vegetation management primarily, and also the operations and maintenance of commercial, industrial, and utility-scale renewable energy power plants. The first year we brought in 4 workers, and it was a huge success. Such a meaningful impact in our business operation that the following year we requested 20 workers. 2024, we've been approved for 35 workers.
My name is Angel Gallegos. I'm with Hellas Construction. We were in Cedar Park, a little suburb north of Austin. Been in business 20 years, and our niche, would you say, would be sports construction. So we do all the surfaces for football fields, tennis courts, tracks, things of that nature. We average about 1,300 American workers year after year, and H-2B workers, we're bringing in close to 150 to 250. We had a lot of groups that fell into the D, E, F, G groups. Utilizing NCA kind of allowed us the opportunity to get folks from the central region.
Ministry of Labor in Guatemala had a pretty good pool of workers. One of the things that we really liked about the interview process is we show up, there's a pool of people. We get the Ministry of Labor in Guatemala assigns us a translator, and there was 3 of us from the company down there last year doing interviews. So we split the pool up, and we each had a translator, and we were able to effectively flow through. How many candidates?
I think it was like 70. I think it was like 75. Yeah, that we interviewed.
So we interviewed, 75 candidates across the 3 of us to come down to 20 final candidates. 16 workers from Guatemala and 4 workers from El Salvador.
I gave all the names to LCI, and they are submitting them to the consulate, so they'll be there for us to interview.
They were able, we kind of, sampled that process last year when the ministry was able to set those candidates up for interviews as well.
Guatemala and El Salvador kind of had lined up, a group of candidates that we based off of our job description. So I was very impressed with the overall process. Yeah, interviewed close to about 140 candidates, ended up bringing close to about 76 candidates over. And basically the split is probably about 60-40, 60 from El Salvador, 40 from Guatemala. And this year we anticipate bringing over, a lot of them are going to be repeat workers that we had last year, but I'm probably looking for about another 60 to 75 new candidates. What I've asked for those 76 guys is to bring me referrals of folks that, since they've already known it for the first year, know the type of work that we do. So I'm hoping to get some pretty good candidates.
We interviewed 150 and we're seeking 45. 25 and 20 between El Salvador, and out of the 45, 42 is coming back in 2024.
Mostly line cooks and food service attendants, which for us is they can be a bartender, a busser, a host, a server, front of house food and beverage service. I thought it was one of the most organized events I've been to in terms of recruiting people. And I think it was the Sheraton in San Salvador, they had the ballroom set up so you could just go there, sit at your own designated table. We had an interpreter and we had somebody from, I think it was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from El Salvador that was actually having the computer database. So they bring in 3 people at once. So I said, hey, I'd like to meet some line cooks. They would literally bring 3 people over that had applied for line cooks. They've already pre-screened and determined from those, you give them a grading scale. 0, 1, or 2, or 1, 2, or 3, I think it was, that the ministry would use as their scorebook, so to speak, to say, all right, you gave these people a 2, then those people are on your yes list. 0 is a no, and you give them kind of feedback after each 15-minute block. There were some wonderful people. So it was a pleasant surprise at just how great their English was and how just genuinely kind. For a customer service business, I left that place thinking this place is full of people that really, really have the right kind of mindset.
3 absconded, so not a high number.
1 absconder and 2 quit.
Meeting them in person after the volume of other people, we were 11 for 11.
All but 1. So out of the 20 total workers, we did have 1 abscond. Towards the end of the year as well, which they worked 90% of our actual season. 3 or 4 of them missed.
I think we only had 2 in
total days. I think 2 total sick days that they didn't actually show up to scheduled work.
This is your first year. You absolutely have to go down there in person. There's things that you just can't really measure by a Zoom call or even a phone call. You have to see it in person. The way somebody walks up to you, the way somebody gives you a handshake. Those are key elements to when you're making a hiring decision, especially for folks that have never been to the U.S. You start building that I would say team.
The biggest challenge, I think, was we didn't have direct communication with them for the longest time. By late February, I got through to some of those staff through WhatsApp, and I found their numbers and connected to the people in El Salvador. Hey, can you find this person? And they were like, I didn't know you even wanted us to come. So we lost 2 really good applicants because they were like, now I can't go. I have other things. But I think you really, as an employer, have to stay on top of it and not just wait. I think you have to have the employees take a little bit of the impetus and make sure they go check on their own stuff, and not just wait for the employer to give them updates. Because I think there's got to be a little bit of self-accountability. If you really want to make this happen, it doesn't just happen from 4,000 miles away. It has to be done. They have to be going and checking on themselves and being their own advocates. I got the impression they just get lost in the shuffle. And so you have to make sure that your piece of paper is getting pushed back to the top. Each year, everybody's got a little bit of a growing pain. And every year it seems like the countries get a little bit better. And then, so there's a few less mistakes and a little less delays.
I think a lot of it goes to the vetting and interview process. You get a good sense of
who they are,
what their family experiences are. We can lay the expectations out very clearly for them. And they also have a good expectation of what the job is. They're watching videos that we pre-recorded. And a lot of them, we noticed through marketing management, a lot of them immediately went to our website. They had our contact information. So a lot of them immediately after the interview went to our website, went to our Facebook page, went to our LinkedIn contacts, and we're looking at these these jobs and these videos.
I think interviewing is a big process. You really need to go down there to get the full effect of it. I felt very safe in Guatemala. I felt very safe in El Salvador.